Hello, everyone. You're back at Divine Interventions 13. It is me, Sistar Outspoken, and
RX. And today we are here talking about dreams. But before we get into dreams, we are going to,
set the tone.
yes,
Let's tune ourselves. Let's move at a higher vibration together,
yes,
and then come to a good place to receive this information.
absolutely. Yeah, so this here, before I get into this is a singing bowl. This is a Tibetan singing bowl. And this here is a singing bowl that actually resonates with your crown chakra. There are different colors for different chakras, a total of 7 different bowls. So when this right here is played, it just helps to like spark your higher consciousness, basically. So we are gonna play this and set the tone for our show today.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that. I think we all needed that during this Mercury retrograde. Let's tune ourselves,
Yes.
guys. Okay.
Okay, we are all done with that.
So, as RX said, we're going to talk about dreams today because, as we noticed, there's not a whole lot of information going around that really helps you understand the dream world and how dreams, how they're created and how they affect you, how you can understand and utilize them for your daily path. You know, we're just taught that it's just your imagination running wild or something like that. So we want to teach you and give you a little bit more knowledge based on ancient teachings of spirituality, etc., on what these things are. Because most of the, like you said last time, most of the things that we find, the studies that we can find, are doctors that are looking at other people or studying other people while they dream, and then kind of putting their opinions on it, and not really experiencing like our ancestors did, and help us understand according to how they tapped in, how they connected with other realms of consciousness. So,
Yeah, and that's like an important thing to mention about dreams is that dreams are like not always like in depth, like explored. Like it's like usually like scientists, sleep studies, things like that. So it's something that's kind of like like it's like a gray area,
Yeah,
I guess you can
definitely.
say. I can't think of a better word to
Definitely.
use for it. It's like a gray area, and when you talk to people about their dreams, they just dismiss it like, oh, you
That
had
was
a
a
dream
dream I
about whatever.
had.
Like,
Yeah.
it's nothing. It's no big deal. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, no, like these things are a
They're-
big deal. Like your subconscious is telling you something. There are messages, like and like there's so much that goes into it. I think that it's like such like a precious time because some people sleep maybe 8 hours a night or 6 hours, or like, that's like a long time. Like,
yeah, especially
don't
during
you-
COVID, some people are not working, so
Right.
they have
able
more
to sleep
time
in.
to sleep.
Yeah. Don't you want to know what's going on during this time that you're dreaming? Like these are
Yes.
things that we need to know, we need to talk about. So this is very dear to me. Like I love the dream world, the astral world. I love all that stuff. I'm like
Yeah,
borderline obsessed with it. So yeah, so we're
it can get there. Be
Yes.
careful, because once you start to do some of these practices and have some of these experiences, it can get a little obsessive at first because you want to learn. So
Yes.
you go down this rabbit hole, but you come back to waking life. Utilize what you learn and what you experience in waking life. Don't stay there. Okay?
you gotta come back.
Gotta come back, okay? But you also learn that you don't need to sleep as long to even have these experiences. When you come across different religious backgrounds or different studies, we see that what comes up most of the time is that the time between like 4 and 6 in the morning is like when the veil is thin and you're at a certain point in your dream state where you normally have these experiences.
Yeah, even as early as 3 a.m. like that, right? Like from 3 to 6, like that. Between that time, the veil is very thin. You might have your like wildest dreams at that time. And also with like the dream world, there is no sense of time. So it's like sometimes like I'll be asleep.
Minute could be like 3 hours.
Yeah, like I'll be sleeping. I feel like, oh, that was like 20 minutes, and I'll wake up and it was like 2 hours. And it's like, oh man, like that was like wow right there. Hold up. Yeah, that's so true.
So time is definitely different in another realm.
Yes.
So what we wanted to do is give you guys some basics today. We're not gonna go too deep. We just want to give you some basics just so you understand that there is different kinds of dreams and some basic symbols that you can leave with today. And this is part 1 of a series because dreams we can go on for a very long time.
Yes.
Okay. But we want you guys to leave with something today. So RX, you want to talk a little bit about some types of dreams? Or?
Yes. Well, before I get into that, I just want to say like where you lay your head is also important when you go to sleep at night.
Yes.
Like that's also, very important. So if you notice that I have here, so if you lay your head to the west, that right there is like a symbol of like security. So you might have dreams that have to do with, your own personal security.
Right.
Whether it's financial, whether it's physical, whatever, someone who is like, you're secure, like your family, your children, whatever, things like that. If you lay your head to the east, that right there will bring on like spiritual dreams. And I think that my bed, I lay to the east a lot. So I think that's why I have like, I have spiritual dreams a lot, like very often.
Me too. I need to figure out where I'm laying.
Yeah, you just get your compass like on your phone or whatever, and that was a good tool for you guys to use. The compass on your phone, it's not there for nothing. You can use it and find out like which way are you sleeping your head at night. Like also, like I want to get more into that with that later. But okay, so the north, that's more like philosophical dreams. And then to the south is like emotional feelings, things like that.
So I have a question. What would be an example of like philosophical versus spiritual?
So philosophical is more like theory, like figuring out like how things work, stuff that's always associated with the north.
That you may be questioning about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's say like if you want to know more about something and you're studying that, like sleep with your head to the north. Yeah. Because the north is always synonymous with like air, like air signs, like intellect, thinking, even like the wands, like in the tarot deck, like the wands, like that's what it's always associated with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about. Oh, you know what? I want to touch a little bit on that spiritual.
Yes, let's do it.
Because I know last time I talked a little bit about how I utilize dreams for my spiritual practice. So a couple things that I utilize and that I learned from the ancestor, Nomad Winterhawk. Just a few things that you guys can think of. First of all, we'll get into symbolism. And you might want to add some things to that as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So some things that I pay a lot of attention to is, say if I'm driving in a car or something like that, cars represent transitions in your life, going from one point to another. So that's something to pay attention to in your waking life. Like, where am I transitioning to? Where am I trying to go? What was that trying to tell me? And then pay attention to who's in the car with you. Because that's a representation of who's taking this ride with you. And then if you're in a larger vehicle, if you're in a train or a bus or something like that, that has a representation on how large the transition is, how fast it is, how the distance that you're going right now. And then if you have a dream and you have like planes or jets or flying objects for transportation, that represents your spiritual transitioning. So if you're going through growth spiritually in life, that's what that represents. And again, pay attention to who's in the vehicle with you and if you're even driving or not.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
Who's driving you on this journey? Where y'all going? What kind of car y'all in?
Who is leading? Who are you
the windows
trusting?
Down? Like this, like all that stuff has a meaning to it.
Stuff will happen in the car ride. It'll crash or it'll slow down or you feel locked in. You can't get out. This person is driving. They're not listening to you. All of that matters because that's saying that you feel locked in on this ride that you're not even controlling where you're going.
Right. Or the brakes don't work.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So pay attention to those things because you're not having it for nothing. Your spirit is talking to you, or your spirit guides are talking to you. Something of the astral realm is talking to you, and that's your tool to be able to listen. That's your own personal movie that's giving you truth. Like, it's like a cheat code, almost. And then you have stuff like water. Like I've actually talked about this on Ruin the Hour and on my channel, Life Outspoken. But water represents emotion. So pay attention to how vast it may be. If it's that the waves is high. Are you getting like washed over by waves in your dreams? Are you in the rapids and the rivers? Or is the water calm? Are you in a good place emotionally?
Yeah, that's important. Is the water clear? Is the water muddy? Is the water dirty?
Exactly.
Who's in the water with you? Are you in a bathing suit? Like, you're obviously prepared for that emotion. Are you in, like, a fur coat or something? Like, are you not prepared for that emotion?
Are you floating? Are you drowning? What's happening?
Important.
So all of those things are tools you can utilize in the dream world. And another thing I like to look at is lucid dreaming.
Oh, yeah.
Lucid dreaming. Because not only does the practice of lucid dreaming make you be more in the moment during the day, because part of I'm just going to make this as quick as possible, but part of practicing to be able to lucid dream, I had to be more in the moment during the day to make sure I wasn't dreaming. Like, that was part of the exercises.
Yeah.
Like, I had an alarm on my phone. So it'll go off at a certain time. I'll check around, like, okay, where am I? Poke at your hand or pinch yourself.
Yeah.
So you can know, like, where you are and if you're in a dream or not. And then what happens is that starts to train your subconscious to check. And when you're in the dream, you do it in a dream.
I was just going to ask you that. Like, how do you apply that practice? That's a very strong practice, by the way. How do you apply that to, like, your actual lucid dreams? Like, having, like, your alarm, knowing that you're here. How do you do that when you're lucid dreaming?
When you train like that on a regular basis, like, say if you do it for like 3 days, and you set an alarm for every hour, it's so deep in your subconscious.
Wow.
In the dream, it happens.
Wow.
Your phone will go off in the dream, or you'll just be like, oh, let me check, and then you check in your skin pool, or like something weird happens, and it's like, okay, I did it.
Okay, yeah.
All right, I'm here now.
Making progress.
Yeah. But this is the thing about lucid dreaming and why I appreciate this practice so much, but I want to give this basic information so that you don't abuse it. Because even on the last one, I talked about doing things wrong. And what I noticed first and foremost, that in my conscious world, in my own reality of my dream world, it was very gray at first, because of the things that I was going through in life at that time. I was grieving. Yeah. And it was a dark place, And so my first thought was, let me change this space. So I started, like, growing stuff out the ground and making plants grow and creating rivers and doing all of these things to create this new world. And then Winterhawk said in class one day, he was like, be careful doing stuff like that. Because everything that you add in your dream affects you in waking life.
Yeah, that's very true.
So if I'm adding a river, what does water represent?
Emotions.
Emotion. So I'm over here thinking I'm just feeding my plants through this land of the golden and the sun and blah de blah.
I mean, you wake up and a flood of emotions come your way. Yeah, you gotta be ready for whatever it is, because like dreams, like they do affect our walk in life. You gotta be prepared and ready for whatever that brings into your life.
You have to do your research first. You can't just jump in and think you're a master at something or play with things that you're not experienced at,
right?
Because it'll affect you. Yeah. Even different types of plants may have different representations. So we have to pay attention to those things, but you do have the power to do that. You can literally lucid dream and then start to reconstruct where you're at in life right now. You can use that time to study. You can use that time to practice your rounds. But what was funny to me, we can go into something else. that show, that movie Inside Out, about the emotions, the animation.
I don't think I've seen it.
Oh, you need to see it. You will love it. So
It sounds familiar, but I don't think I've seen it.
it's about a little girl and her emotions, right? And every emotion has its own identity or personality and job, right? But at night,
sounds funny.
at night, the dream world takes over, right?
Okay.
So they just kind of like run her screen, and then it's other entities that like put on costumes and play out stuff for her subconscious mind. And in her mind, their faces look like people that she knows, right?
Wow, okay.
That messed me up because when I started to lucid dream, I really realized that we cross dimensions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in other dimensions, entities have jobs.
Right, yeah.
And they don't expect you to be awake. Like we visit and we do things a lot. But a lot of time we do it unconsciously, even in that state. So I have woken up and be like, hey, like where I'm at, and they was looking like, I didn't train for this. Like, you know, they there to give me a whole nother message. They setting up for a whole analogy in my mind, you know, for something that I might have asked for last week or something.
Yeah.
And I'm here with them though.
Right.
Like it's not a movie. I'm like in it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, so what we doing? And they like,
I wasn't
like,
expecting you so soon.
Exactly, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's you will start to learn how you are multi-dimensional creatures.
Yes.
And not to be afraid of that, but be understanding of that and utilize that tool.
Yes.
And those abilities to better your life.
Yeah, because it can be kind of scary.
Yeah.
I think that, like, my whole life, I've always been able to lucid dream. I thought everyone could do it because I'm, like, so, like, good at it. And then also, like how you just said right now, like, you ask for something to be shown to you, or you ask for a knowledge or information, whatever. And whatever you ask for, you have to be ready for that. Because what if it comes to you while you out there astral traveling and lucid dreaming and all this different stuff, and then like it happens and it's like, oh my god, like, do I really want this to happen right now? And like, you already asked for it, it's already here, boom, what's up, what you gonna do with it? So it's like you gotta be real mindful and real careful of like what you put in your subconscious mind, movies that you watch, things that you see, things that you talk about, like all that stuff is gonna be in your subconscious, and you have to like be mindful of that, like whatever you're filling your subconscious with, and it's going to play out in your dreams in one way or another.
Exactly. What I want to add too is the things that you watch and the things that you put inside of you. It's like having content to utilize. You know, like my spirit guides, and maybe me in general, you know, is very imaginative, very, very like to do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So the analogies that can be created on a storyline to give me the most simple ass message can be crazy as fuck. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I remember I was telling you something one day, and it was like somebody took a shower and the light turned off, and then this happened over here, and da 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 da. And then the message was like, well, that means da 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 da. Like, you know?
It's like a method to the madness.
Yeah, but I understood it, and my spirit guides and ancestors know how I think.
Right.
But the more we put in here, the more they got to work with.
Right.
So remember that.
Yes.
So don't be just like, I just had a weird ass dream. No, you're very imaginative and you take in a lot of stuff. So now you have more to figure out.
Yes. You got to decode some stuff.
Yeah, you got more to decode because you are who you are.
Right. That's so true. Because I feel like the astral realm, sometimes it's like a lot of like vibration. It's not always like words. It's like concepts and like vibes. You get like a vibe, like telepathy and things like that. And like you understand. I understand that so well in like the astral life. I understand it so well. In this realm, it's like people are like, oh no, there's no such thing as that, and that stuff doesn't exist. And no, these things exist.
It makes it so hard. And with her even saying that, whoever's watching this and you have premonition dreams, you know, we're gonna talk about that too, premonition dreams and visitation dreams. But if you're having premonition dreams where you're being shown something that may affect not just you but maybe somebody else, and it's like, oh, that was weird, I don't want to tell them that or something like that. I'm sorry to tell you that you may have to be that person.
Yeah.
And we don't like to be the weirdos that hit people up out of nowhere. For real. Like, I'm that person. Yeah, like, that is so hard to do. Like, people to be that like, person. Like, if you call them, or I've DM'd people on Twitter. Like, hey, man. I have an intro, too. It's like, I'm that person. Like, this comes with being my friend. Yeah. You know, this comes with being my friend, you know. So this happened. Yeah. So at this time, you'll kind of feel like this because it is. Like,
I gotta make a phone call after this now, Jazz. Thanks a lot. Because I'm like, bro, I had some dreams last night. Like, I gotta make some phone calls. Yeah. I don't want to tell people because I'd be like, dang, this person is gonna think I'm crazy. Way.
Yeah.
Right. And I've had good and bad experiences with that. I've had bad experiences where I tell somebody something and then it happens in their life and they think that I'm like wishing evil on them or I'm like, you know, doing something bad over them or something. I'm not. I would never do that. And then I have like the good stuff where like, I'm telling somebody like, oh, I had this really good dream about you and you had all this success and you were happy and you had this and you had that. And 3 days later, they like, how come it ain't came yet? Oh, well, how come you dreamed that, but it hasn't arrived yet? I'm like,
we don't have the time frames for stuff. Yeah, we don't have the time frames for stuff. Yeah. But the reason why I decided like, F it, I'm gonna be that person. Yeah. Is because I've had good and bad experiences in the sense of things happening that were good and things happening that were bad. That I knew was going to happen, and I didn't say nothing. Yeah. Like
it's a responsibility that comes with it. Yeah,
absolutely. Because I've called people and told them like you're going to have it's an illness. Like you need to go to the doctor. Yeah, you need to check it out. And they didn't take it seriously, you know, or take full on what I was saying and die from cancer.
Oh wow, that's you know? Wow, that's deep.
And then, but it was off my chest because it was like I did my part.
Right, that's all you can do is your part, you know. And sometimes it's somebody else's, like, you know, spirit guide or their ancestor coming to you to deliver that message to them.
Man, I was just thinking about that the other day. It was like, and when we was thinking about talking about this, I have to let people know that too, because some people get mad and like, why they didn't come and tell me? You don't even think it's real. So now I gotta deal with your ancestors because you don't want to practice dreams,
right?
Like, you know, like, okay. But that's like we said, we can go on and on about dreams. But you want to give them just like some practices that they can do to make sure they sleep well?
Absolutely. So before you go to sleep at night, something that I have to do sometimes is literally dump my subconscious mind onto paper. I mean, you could do that anyway. For me, writing is like my easiest, you know, method. I mean, you could like, you know, maybe talk to someone. You could maybe pray, meditate, do some yoga, something.
Journaling is good because you get to look back at it.
Right.
And see where your mind was, where your mind is now. Yeah. What may have came out over here, over there. Like, we really want to encourage journaling as a part of the spiritual process.
Right. Absolutely. That right there is going to be like a key, you know, tool, honestly.
For mental health.
Yeah, for mental health as well. Like, I have to be writing every day. Like, that's just me. I have to be constantly writing. Because, like, it's hard for me to, like, say things out loud sometimes. I won't, like, always talk to people about everything. But I'll write everything down, though. Because that's, like, more comfortable
and it's
for
personal.
me.
That's you.
Yes. So definitely just like dumping out your subconscious mind, relaxing your mind, relaxing your body, doing that through, you know, yoga, meditation, whatever works for you. Listen to like soothing music. Like I know at nighttime I play like Native American drumming, like, you know, shaman music. I play chakra, you know, frequency music or
binaural beats.
Yeah, things like that.
Or I actually like to listen to the piano and flutes.
Yeah, the flutes. Yes, the Native American flutes. I listen to that all the time. I love it. The drumming and the flutes. I love it. Yeah. So that right there is like gonna like calm you down. And then like you have to like command your mind and your body on what to do. You have to literally tell your mind, calm down, I'm ready to go to sleep, lower your activity, I'm ready to, you know, have a peaceful night's rest. You know, when I sleep tonight, I want to see this person. I want to go to this place. Or like command your mind and your body to do things. I
want to answer on this. I want to understand this.
Yes.
And then when you wake up, journal. As soon as you wake up, because you'll forget. And the more that you journal when you wake up, the more vivid your dreams become. Right. Because now your mind knows and your ancestors knows. Now every aspect of yourself knows, okay, they want to do this.
Yes.
Let's do this shit.
Yeah, exactly.
For real.
Yeah, that right there is that's the formula right there. Yeah, wake up, journal, write down the date. Oh, that's a very important.
And
Write down the date.
We'll get into numbers another day.
Yeah, write down the date, the time, write down what's going on in your personal life, right, at that moment, like generally what's going on, not super details, right? I mean, you don't need to. And then the symbols of the dreams, and see how they coincide with your walking life. And see, you know, like if you have like questions that you need answers to, like the answers will come. Like you have to just, you know, take the process and, you know, take one step at a time, one night at a time, one dream at a time, and you'll definitely get there. Absolutely.
So that's our beginners crunch time lessons or dreams. We obviously didn't even get to touch on everything today.
Oh my God, there's so much to touch on. Like it's like a whole series. We're gonna have so much more stuff about dreams coming at you guys. If you guys want answers to different questions,
any specifics,
anything specific,
we'll elaborate.
Absolutely. Leave it in the comments. You can always DM us if it's something private. It doesn't matter. Definitely hit us up. We're here for your dream needs. Yes.
So like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys again soon.
Yes. Peace.
Peace.